what's an NFT to me? Imagine an artist like Robert Indiana. And if you don't know who Robert Indiana is, Robert Indiana basically created the LOV sculpture. And if you're from San Francisco, like I am, or even New York or anywhere else, anybody who knows like the pop, modern, like New York School of Art will understand who Robert Indiana is. And this love sculpture has been at the MoMA, it's in front of the ballpark in San Francisco, et cetera, right? You guys all know this. Well, one day, this sculpture was sitting in his studio, and one of his collectors or somebody, and I'm only paraphrasing this, so please don't quote me if I'm wrong, but somebody comes to a studio and says like, "What's under the blanket?" And he goes, "Well, that's something I've been working on for a while." Blah blah blah. And the guy looks at it and goes, or the person looks at it and goes like, "Oh my God, this is incredible. When can it be ready and when can I sell it?" Well, that particular person saw what was the potential behind that, and I'm assuming it's the Robert Indiana Foundation, basically got all the usage rights from that. And you've seen it everywhere. It's on t-shirts. It's been bootlegged left and right. But not only that, it also became a stamp. So what is an NFT? Well, an NFT really is that stamp. It holds a value. It has a picture. It has an image. And there's some meaning behind it. Now, this is what we call smart art, except that not everybody has the ability to do this. Robert Indiana was lucky. He was fortunate. He had his sculpture studio. He was doing other artwork. He had a number of different things going on that basically attracted this amazing opportunity. And today, what I think in an analog way that was solved, in a digital way, this is starting to happen. Another way to look at NFTs, and I tell this to everybody, is when you have a car, like what's its value? Well, of course, it's the car. Now, let's say I sell you the car. Well, how do you know what it's worth? Like, how do you know the value? How do you know this? And then also, how do you know who owns the car? Well, specifically, two things happen. Number one, you go to the dealership, you buy the car, and it has specific details, like what's in it. And we always begin with the first thing that's the most valuable. What's that? The brand name. And the brand name is what sort of sets it all off. And that's what you're paying for the value of the vehicle to begin with. Secondly, will be all of its features. Does it have leather? Does it have heated seats? Does it have heated side view mirrors, etc.? Is it a V8, a V12? Is it a Ferrari? These are all things that establish what the value is. But now, where's the ownership? Well, the ownership happens within the registration of the car. And what gets registered? The pink slip. And what does that do? Well, essentially, what it says is that on this date, you bought it for this much, and it had all these features. Super simple, right? But how's it provable? Well, it's provable because that when you sell the car, you're going to give that pink slip, and that pink slip is going to match your registration, and your car will be worth what that car is. There could be another, the same brand, same model, same etc., but why is yours worth more? Well, maybe it has something that's rare, right? They did a collaboration with some other brands, but you get the clue. The idea is that NFTs have become what we call the smart contract, smart art that's on blockchain. It's provable, and the ownership and the authentication behind it is 100% provable. So when I create a piece of artwork, and let's say with like the enamels, we're doing this series, and I've decided to create 12,000 unique individual pieces. I took 80 colors, 80 patterns, 80 rings, 80 colorways, 6 color harmonies, etc., and then I ran them through an algorithm. Now what I did is I told the algorithm that each one of these things has a different percentage of probability to be able to be made. So what it does is it gives 10% of this value, 1% of this value, 0.05 of this value, etc., and then what it starts doing is it starts mixing and matching all of them. And we can also say that some things are common and some things are uncommon. What does this look like? Oh, geez. Well, it's super simple. If you ever collected baseball cards and you wanted the Babe Ruth, or you wanted the Mickey Mantle, or you wanted the Barry Bonds from San Francisco. In any case, if you wanted any of these kind of cards, you had to buy so many cards, or you were lucky and you got one. But of course, that's the way it is. So essentially, within this 12,000 collection, I've put in some rare traits. So like things like crowns and crossbones, etc. But why is this special? Because Robert Indiana, if we go back to my previous story, and the car dealership, if we go back to that story, are primed businesses that have this infrastructure in place, and you pay for it. When you do a contract or whichever else, you have an attorney. You have all these different people that are around. As an artist, besides the marketing part and the Rolodex, like, what is a gallery really doing for you? Well, number one, it's authenticating your work that it's credible. Number two, it's saying to the world that since it was bought through you, it's worth something. Think Tiffany's diamond. Why is a Tiffany's diamond worth more than the other guy's diamond? Well, maybe it has a little bit to do with the fact that it has a little inscription and it comes with a little book, and inside that book it says this was a Tiffany's diamond and we put our name on this. Well, the same thing can be said with NFTs and artists today, except that now we don't need attorneys, we don't need car dealerships, we don't need brokers, we don't need any of this stuff. I can set up a smart contract and I can sell you today a piece of artwork that you own. It marks you as a community member. Okay, so you've got a rock band. As a rock band, you have fans. Okay, and these fans are people who go to your concerts, buy your tickets, buy your merchandise, buy this, buy that. Well, today, you can do the same thing, but the thing is with NFTs, you could be a fan, but what you are is a community member. It's a badge that allows you into that community and create an entire collection. Make it generative, make it single. I can do anything. And I can also make rules behind it. I can put timestamps on it so that if you don't buy it at a certain period of time, it burns. And burning basically means that it goes on the blockchain and at a period of time, it basically deteriorates. It doesn't exist anymore. The image will always exist in my wallet, or not my wallet, but in my folder on my computer, but it will never exist in anybody else's wallets unless they get reissued or whichever. But lots more information than you really need. So I hope this sort of answers quite a bit of information and gives you a really well-rounded kind of metaphor to create your own story with what NFTs are. Because NFTs are they're just a really special new piece of technology that we can all use and turn into something great. And the beauty is that visual artists are proving it. And that's something really special. So when you invest in Hearts4 and the Enamels NFT, what you're doing is you're essentially proving that I, myself as an artist, launched something, brought it to market, and I was able to sell it, and there was basically a paper trail behind it that made it perfect. Now, if you want to learn more about all this stuff, I suggest, and I'll probably do some little talks about what is the blockchain? What is cryptocurrency? What are NFTs really? Non-fungible tokens. And also the different kinds, like what's a PFP, what's a generative series, what's a one-off piece of artwork. All of these are very simple questions that there's lots of answers on the internet about. But I'm hoping that this video gives you some of the smart markers to get you to do those ChatGPT or Google searches that can basically answer more profound questions for you. In any case, I'm Sandro Tchikovani, the founder and creator of Hearts4, and I'm really excited. Thank you.